gets worse. Let's have our next pair come up. So we have our next Mr. and Mrs. McWilliams. So we have Dixie and Zach coming up. Now, Dixie and Zach are going to start reading on page 91. And as they start reading on page 91, what we're going to look at is several things that Mrs. McWilliams sees as a problem. We already know, well, she's the problem, but the match is the first thing that's going to start the lightning. Move up a little bit closer to make sure we can hear you. And Mrs. McWilliams, you start on page 91 with, did you say your prayers?
Did you say your prayers tonight?
Let me think. Oh dear. No, I didn't. I meant to, but I got to trying to decipher how much 12 times 13 is, and...
Really? You're going to spend your night focusing on the multiplication tables. As an adult, that's what we all do. Keep on going.
Oh, we are lost beyond all help. How could you neglect to say your prayers at such a time as this?
But it wasn't such a time as this at the time I went to bed. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. How could I know there was going to be all this rumptious and powwow about a little slip like that? And I don't think it's fair for you to make so much out of it. Anyway, seeing it happen so seldom. I haven't missed before since I brought on that earthquake 4 years ago.
Mortimer, how you talk. Have you forgotten the yellow fever?
My dear, you are always throwing up that yellow fever to me, and I think it's perfectly unreasonable. You can't even send a telegraphic message as far as Memphis without relays. So how is it a little forgetfulness on my part, resulting in my omitting to say my prayers? Going to carry halfway around the globe. I'll stay on the earthquake because it was in the neighborhood, but I'll be hanged if I'm going to be held responsible for every single...
And then the thunder hits. So he is solely responsible for 2 large events because he didn't pray. The first one he brought on was what? Students watching? Students in the classroom, what is it? The earthquake. And then she's going to blame him for causing on a sickness, the yellow fever. Surely he created that. It must be his fault that the lightning is coming in. Now on page 91, Mrs. McWilliams, she is really up in arms. And Mortimer is probably the calmest person you'll ever meet in your entire life. He's being accused of everything. You're calm, right, Mortimer? So let's go, Mrs. McWilliams.
Oh, dear, dear,
Top
dear.
of the column. Get away from it this moment. She's upset too. So be upset.
Get away from it this moment. You do seem determined to bring destruction on us all. Don't you know that there is no better conductor for lightning than an open chimney? Now where have you got to go?
So what's the first thing that's going to cause lightning, Michaela?
The lighting a match.
The match, and then on this page?
Now the open chimney.
So right in chimney. We've got the chimney, that's a problem. All right, mister.
I'm here by the window.
Oh, for pity's sake, have you lost your mind? Clear out from here this moment. The very children in arms know it is fatal to stand near a window in a thunderstorm.
So what's the next thing that's going to cause them to be struck by lightning, Mia? Standing where?
Near the window.
Yes, and you can just hold that. Keep on going.
Dear, dear, I know I shall never see the light of another day. Mortimer,
Yes?
what is that rustling?
It's me.
What are you doing?
Trying to get my jacket on over my nightshirt. It isn't easy.
Take off that jacket at once. I do believe you would deliberately put on that jacket at such a time as this.
But I'm cold in just my nightshirt, my dear.
You know perfectly well that all authorities agree that woolen stuff attracts lightning.
So what's the next thing that's going to attract lightning, Jesse?
The wolf.
Yes. Okay. You can't light a match. You can't stand near a chimney. Don't be near a window. No jackets for you. Okay. Start with Mr. McWilliams irritably. Now he's a little bit upset. Do you see it? Right there?
Well, would you like if I sang a hymn, Near My God to Thee?
Oh, don't sing. What can you be thinking of?
So now, what's going to cause it? Look down at what Mrs. McWilliams says. If I have told you once.
If I have told you once, I have told you 100 times. That singing causes vibrations in the atmosphere which interrupt the flow of the electric fluid. And what on earth are you opening the kitchen door for?
So now, what's going to cause a lightning, Olivia?
Singing.
Yes, and I suppose if you are a bad enough singer, that might work. Let's turn the page. He opens up the kitchen door. Mrs. McWilliams realizes he's going to get something to drink. Oh, how horrible is it? He's thirsty. Start reading.
Harm? There's death in it. Anybody that has given this subject any attention knows that to create a drought is to invite the lightning.
So merely opening the door and creating a draft in the room is going to cause lightning. There is not much hope for you, Mr. McWilliams. You're going to harm your entire family. Let's look a little farther down where Mrs. McWilliams sees her husband washing his hands, rising and moving closer to the door to shout at him.
You certainly have parted with the remnant of your mind. Where lightning strikes any other substance once, it strikes water 50 times.
So what's it going to strike more, everyone? Water. We see a little farther down, he's standing close to the what, Dixie? Then you are close to the... You're skipping, you read, you've certainly parted with the remnant of your mind. Skip Mr. McWilliams' line and then read your next line.
Then you are as close to the wall. I never heard of such impudence. Don't you know there's no better conductor for lightning than a wall?
No, it wasn't me knocked the picture down. It was the cat. I frightened it in the dark.
The cat? Oh, destruction. Catch her and shut her up in the pantry. And do be quick about it. Cats are full of electricity.
Yes, of course. So, the wall. Now cats. It's not looking good. Okay, I want my next Mr. and Mrs. headed up. Now, as my next Mr. and Mrs. come up, keep in mind, now Mr. McWilliams is going to be in quite a pinch. So as my Mr.